so the inspection's over, and the inspector has provided us with a report this thick. And most buyers at this point get very, very cold feet because they see that, just the endless list of things and think, okay, I've bought a lemon.
Yeah, they oftentimes think, what's wrong? There's too much wrong with this, Erica. I gotta go somewhere else. We gotta look somewhere else because this can't be the case, right?
Yeah.
So, but don't get overwhelmed. Obviously, there's a lot of things that go into that inspection, and there's a lot of it is just mainly cosmetic, and they want to make sure they're touching on all the major components, because the last thing they want to do is hear you come and say, we didn't catch something, or we missed something. So they want to make sure. So don't be overwhelmed by that by any means. It's just an extensive report that everybody gets.
So how do they break that down? What do we suggest to our buyers when they're looking at this list to make it to simplify it? There's a few things that we say, like look at these specific items.
So what I try to tell people, what we try to tell people is look for the main components. You got your plumbing, electrical, HVAC, roof, just the main the main key components of a home are what we want to focus on. And we're looking for major issues within those components to be able to figure out the ones that are costly repairs, things that could cost you a lot of money, or that has got deferred maintenance on, or things that haven't been kept up the way they should have been kept up. So we can go over the whole report with you, talk it over, make sure that you answer all your questions, but don't be overwhelmed by that. We want to touch on the main key components of that.
Yeah, because they talk about things like there's the door doesn't open and close properly, to caulking, to worn carpet.
Yeah.
We want to talk about things that are, they're going to cost a lot. They're going to devalue the property. They're going to be safety concerns, things like that.
Right.
So,
we definitely, there's going to be a lot of little cosmetics things that, we're not buying a brand new home in most cases. Some cases we are, and in those cases we can talk in detail about what goes into a brand new home as well. So depending on the scenario and the inspection itself, don't be overwhelmed. Get with one of us. We'll go through it. We'll list out the items that we want to ask, because that goes into the next section, Erica, right? Once we get that report, then we're going to get together with the buyer and sit down and go over the items that we feel like are necessary to ask for the seller to either fix, give money off. Do you want to go into a little bit of that as far as what the options would be?
Basically, it's the second negotiation. Like a lot of people think, when we're making the offer, we're negotiating, we're done with the negotiating. This is now time to renegotiate or negotiate for a second time.
Yeah.
So there's certain things that you're going to want done on a home that should be done. Things that should be working, right?
Right.
And you have the opportunity at this point to ask for those things to be done, and the seller will have so many days to do them. Or you can ask for a reduction in purchase price, do them yourself. Or the third way is to ask for that money to be a credit to you at closing so that you can have it repaired the way that you want. Just the other day, we asked for the sellers to repair a broken window, and when I got there, it was actually plastic. They just did it like a plexiglass window. And so sometimes it's important to, if it's important to you that it's done a certain way, you may want to ask for that as a credit to you at closing so that you can do it your way, right?
Yeah, the best thing is, if you want to make sure it's done the way you want to do it, then the best way to do it is, like Erica said, ask for that credit so you can pick the contractor, because if you don't, they fix it, and then we're almost stuck with the way it was done, and you may like it or you may not. So
and those negotiations kind of go back and forth a little bit. It takes some time. You put in the offer, you want maybe a 5-day business day inspection period for you as the buyer to ask the seller for certain things, and then they have a few days to get back to you, and then kind of go back and forth for a little bit.
Yeah, it could take 3 or 4 days going back and forth between the time of you asking for a seller to fix things to then getting a response back from them. We've gotten to a point where we've got the response back. Are we okay with it, or do we want to terminate the transaction?
Yeah.
Or do we want to try to? Is there 1 or 2 items that maybe you know what I mean? Like, is there something that we
let's say there's like this roof, and the roof is going to cost $20,000, and the seller's like, it's not leaking right now.
Yeah.
But the inspector has told you the roof is bad. It's not gonna last another year. So
Right.
you want the roof replaced, seller doesn't want to, you do have the option to terminate, walk away, and get your earnest money back.
Right,
That's
and
what I
then keep looking for another home. Obviously, you know, we sometimes we run across buyers that they find a home, make the offer, do an inspection, and there's just something about it that's a deal killer, whether it's the roof, like Erica said, or something else, that every once in a while it's just not the right fit for them. It doesn't mean it's the end of the world. We terminate, we get your earnest money back, we move to the next option, the second home or the third home that was on your list initially.
Yeah, and I think sometimes buyers don't realize that the inspection period is not just the house either.
Yeah.
So it gives you a chance to make sure that you like the schools, that you like the neighborhood, that you are okay with the utility costs. Like doing your due diligence is not necessarily just the structure.
100%.
It's also, you know, the environment and everything else that goes into it that you could decide, you know what?
It's not
I
what
came
want.
and parked here at night and it's actually really noisy and there's a party going on next door and I don't want to live here.
Right.
That's also,
Those are all things that encompass the home inspection, so it's important for you guys to be able to understand that in general, that it's not just a house like Erica said, it's everything, it's all things encompassing. So if it's anything like that you don't like or you can't live with, then you get with us and we'll figure out a way for you guys to move beyond that home and go find the right home for you.
yeah.